So here I am with the amazing Az from Mythic. Now, is that excited as, busy as?
Busy as a bumblebee, yeah. No, it's just excited as for Spiel this year. You nailed it. The show this year is unbelievable.
I've never been here before. I walked in and my mind just went...
You picked a good year.
It's amazing. I cannot believe it.
Hall 6 is looking great. Hall 5 is all renovated. Now, it used to be Hall 1 and 3 were kind of the big ones. Now Hall 2's exploded.
Right.
Like every single booth, every single hall is looking incredible. The numbers they're talking about reporting at like 200,000 is like mad, like really, really crazy. Yeah, if you haven't been to Spiel before, this was a good year to come. If you come in the future, I think you'll be really, really impressed.
Fantastic. Now look, you know I love your games. We've done quite a few videos on this stuff. We're actually doing a special one coming up soon where I'm going to set up everything from Joan of Arc on
Good
the
luck,
table.
Greg.
We think it's about a 3-hour shoot. We're going to see how it goes. But look, Reichbusters.
Yep.
How far away are we now?
So we originally pitched this November. That was our estimated date on the Kickstarter. We're looking like February.
Okay.
Yeah, we are about 3 months behind. Essentially, everything's gone well, game development wise, and all the missions and stuff have come on perfectly.
Yep.
But we had some minis that worked. In Reichbusters, we have some minis that are 15 pieces.
Right.
If we're putting those on a sprue and sending them home, and you make them yourself, that'd be fine. But we wanted the come pre-assembled, out of the box, ready to go, right? So we had to kind of work with the factory a lot to get that right, to get both the detail we want. So when we've got things like a walking tank, the Vril Panzer, it has a shield, it has a chain gun, but it also has a gun belt, then it has the Vril energy behind it, it has all the detail we want. So we're a little late on it. We're thinking February is going to be about the time that we get that out, all being well. I think people are going to be blown away by it. The detail's gorgeous.
You're going to paint it for me?
You do not want that to happen, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm an army painter guy, right? I take their approach, which is we base coat that, we wash that, and that's on the table, tabletop ready. Seb Levine is the guy you want for that, but we lock him in Paris. We don't let him out of the office. You have to go to him.
Yeah, you've got some amazing minis on this shelf here.
It break your heart, right?
They are beautiful.
Whenever you see him freehanding, we see him freehanding the shields and all the minis, all the super fancy brawl stuff he's done, the dragon obviously, which has travelled more around the globe than I ever have.
It's doing very well.
He's seen a lot of cons.
I've dropped mine once.
Oh, was it okay?
The wing popped out.
Oh, okay.
And just a little patchwork, but no, he's okay.
Okay.
My baby.
Yeah, once they're plastic, they're pretty durable. I've dropped the Devil once or twice because it's like a single piece once it's done, and it's been fine, thankfully. That's resin. I don't mess around with it.
Now, look, it's clear to me that Mythic are all about quality.
For sure.
How much playtesting goes into each of these games?
To be honest, it's crazy. The playtest. So we started, obviously Joan of Arc was our first game in 2017, and that's a game which has over 40 scenarios where every single scenario is almost like a mini game in its own right. It's hard to compare any two scenarios in Joan of Arc, they're so vastly different. The playtesting workload on that was massive. We're talking like 6 months of internal and external playtesting, and even that probably could have done with even more, if I'm really honest with you.
Hence 1.5.
Hence 1.5, right? So like, for example, we released the Kickstarter for Joan of Arc 1.5 2 weeks ago now, so Plays Manager's coming in just a couple of weeks now. We're doing a bunch of things, like we're working with Rodney Smith, we're working with the Esoteric Order of Gamers, who are down in your neck of the woods with Peter, and we're also going to be getting a company called Vesuvius Media to come on board and help bring more manpower on, so you go back over every single scenario we did originally. So whenever we look at Reichbusters, it's kind of simpler actually, because it only has a 12 mission campaign initially, but then you have the raid system, and the raid system lets you combine any map with any mission, with any team of heroes against any Vrilmeister, which gives you thousands upon thousands of combinations. So the focus was on playtesting and balancing all of the characters and all of the monsters and all of the timing windows, and then rattle through as many of those as we could and get it felt really, really good. And to be honest, Reichbusters is great because there are some janky things in there, but we've embraced them. So we've given you a Thompson that you can upgrade with Vril, and it gets way overpowered and wacky and is stupidly strong, but might also blow your arm off. So it's kind of the game where we've done a lot of playtesting on it, but we've basically balanced the core and then embraced the fringe cases, and we've gone, do you know what, that makes it really fun and heroic. So it's been a bit of an easier one. The playtesting's gone really well on it so far.
So I think Lucky Duck's doing the Time of Destinies.
The Time of Legends Destinies, they are indeed an amazing job.
What's the IP sort of crossover there? How has that gone?
So essentially, the easiest description I can give you is we have Time of Legends Joan of Arc, so that's our massive 1100 mini, historical war battle game. They love the universe that we've created, obviously around Joan and around all the characters. So they asked us if we could basically take that Joan of Arc license and put it in the Time of Legends Destinies with their kind of Chronicles of Crime-esque system, where it's narratively driven, app-driven, and players getting involved. So it's essentially exactly the same world. So for example, in Time of Legends Joan of Arc, you can play a scenario called the Hanged Wolf's Cross. I may play as a werewolf hiding in a town, trying to run away, as you're playing Sir Jihan the Knight, trying to find me and hunt me down. You go to Time of Legends Destinies, you can play exactly the same story, exactly the same narrative. The werewolf is there, Sir Jihan is there, and the story's going on. But now I'm playing as a civilian. You're playing as a deserter. Someone else is playing as the herbalist, and we're everyday people. We're not the heroes, and we're trying to fulfill our epic destinies. You get the game from a whole different perspective, same kind of world, same story, and in completely different mechanics, of course, because we're not worrying about hexes and areas and minis and battles. You're worrying about exploration and narrative and discovering and solving the case.
I see. So look, what's next for Mythic? Any plans on just a deck of cards and a die?
Look, I have a lot of respect for the likes of Awakened Realms, who are doing something as massive and ambitious and beautiful as something like Tainted Grail. Yeah. And then here at Essen, they're releasing Flick of Fate, which is a flicking game about gods, and I'm like, I love seeing that, the creativity of that. And if you look at our projects, we've gone from 40 kilogram, 6 foot tall Joan of Arc. We've then done Solomon Kane, Right Bust, and now Super Fantasy Brawl, which is essentially 15 over-the-top fantasy champions that's going to go to retail and have organised play support and regular events and conventions and things like this. So we are starting to mix it up a lot. Our next step is really looking at retail, some regular releases, so we get some smaller, more easy access, games that you can just pick up off a shelf for 30, 40 euro and just dive in and play immediately. And then we're looking at broadening our scope on Kickstarter. I will say, we've learned our lesson from going a little too wild. Solomon Kane, for example, is also a little bit behind because we increased the storybook on it from about 200 pages to 1,700 pages. Nice. So the storybook of Solomon Kane, is like a graphic, a whole novel in its own right. We've been bitten before by letting ourselves get too creative, so we're trying to be a little bit more controlled. So I think next year you can expect to see a couple of big Kickstarters from us, and we're going to be expanding to areas we've never been before. I can't say too much, but there'll be some licensed stuff in there that's very much NDA right now, but might surprise people. And we're also working on some of our own stuff, like Hell the Last Saga is something we teased in February last year. This Norse horrific kind of creepy winter survival game. We're developing that very slowly in the background. We're not rushing it, we're just taking our time with it. So next year is going to be some retail, some new kind of licenses that might surprise people and kind of broaden our audience even further, hopefully, and we can welcome more community to ourselves.
Well, I think Mythic have said it a million times. It's all about the quality, it's all about the customer, it's all about that product. We love what you're doing. Please keep doing it, and much appreciated.
My pleasure, Greg. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.